Okay, so I'm finally going to react to some DC animated movie rankings, and first up we got Exit over here, aka Connors. You know this guy from my channel, he's been on a bunch of times, he's in a bunch of videos. So anyway, let's get into this. He's ranked a bunch of them, he has 43 ranked I believe, which is almost all of them. Number 1, Death of Superman. I really love Death of Superman, but at number 1, that's... I mean, I can get it. Batman Ninja at number 2, that is very interesting. I like Batman Ninja a lot more than I thought I would. Batman Year One, I don't love Batman Year One at all. I don't know, I think it's just kind of boring. And Ben McKenzie voicing Batman is just really weird to me, and always has been. Apocalypse War, a lot of people did love this movie. I didn't love it. I thought it was good. I thought it was decent, pretty good. Not great, not amazing or anything. Justice League Doom. I do love Justice League Doom. It's probably in my top 10 as well. Crisis on Two Earths. I love Crisis on Two Earths as well. That's definitely in my top 10. The Dark Knight Returns. So he has part 2? Yeah, part 2 at number 7. And I'll go ahead and look at part 1 at number 12. I mean, I just count them as one movie, and they'd both be in my top 5, so they're both great. Superman versus the Elite, I prefer that over Death of Superman. I think it's the best Superman movie. I just think it encompasses Superman very well as a character. Wonder Woman, so yeah, Wonder Woman in the top 10, yeah. Definitely, probably for me, or if not, it's very close to my top 10. Flashpoint Paradox, so Justice League The Flashpoint Paradox. There's only 2 DC anime movies that I think are better than this one, and they're both Batman movies, imagine that. One he doesn't have ranked because he hasn't watched it yet, Return of the Joker. And I've gotten comments in past videos, like, just kind of judging that I have Return of the Joker number 1. A lot of people get it, some people don't quite get it. But I love that movie, I adore that movie. If you want me to explain that in a video, let me know down in the comments below. I think it'd be fun, but yeah, I think it'd be very fun to do. Suicide Squad Hell to Pay at number 11. So, yeah, a lot of people like this movie more than I do. I think it's a really good movie, but there's just a lot of great DC animated movies. So, I've already touched on Dark Knight Returns Part 1. Batman Under the Red Hood at 13. That is kind of shocking to me. Seeing this outside of a top 10 is something I'm not used to. And hopefully I don't have to get used to that, Connor. Superman Red Son at number 14. Yes, Superman Red Son. It was good. It was one of the better DC animated movies in the past few years. Mask of the Phantasm at 15. So I'll get more into this with him when we finally get around to covering that on the channel. But very interesting. I think that movie does hold a lot of nostalgia with people, much like Return of the Joker does hold a lot of nostalgia with me. Not so much Mask of the Phantasm, but I still love Mask of the Phantasm. It's definitely in my top 5. Gotham by Gaslight. I think this is a great Elseworlds tale. I prefer it over Red Son just slightly, as it looks like his is flip-flopped. Reign of the Superman. Now, I kind of hate this movie. I don't necessarily hate it, but I really don't care for this movie. I think it's pretty boring and bland. Justice League Dark, I can scroll down a little, I guess, at number 18. Yeah, I love Justice League Dark. I wish it was higher on my list. I think it's only around 20 or so. I may rank all these one day. I've done a tier list before. You can go check that out. Justice League The New Frontier at 19. Yeah, I pretty much agree with that. Bad Blood at 20. That's kind of interesting. I think I only have it slightly lower, but top 20, that sounds high when you think of how many DC anime movies there are, but you know, Assault on Arkham, that's one I prefer over Bad Blood now that we're getting into that, but still around the same place as me. But Superman, Batman, Apocalypse is lower for me. I don't care for that movie. I think it's pretty boring, and it upsets me when I see these movies with Darkseid, and they just disappoint me because I love Darkseid, and that may be why they disappoint me so much, because I hold Darkseid at such a high standard, mostly because of how he was in Superman the Animated Series and Justice League and JLU. He was amazing in those shows, and he's one of my favorite DC villains, so I just hold him on this high level. He's supposed to be a threat, he's supposed to be intelligent, he's supposed to have just outsmart pretty much everyone. He's evil, the ultimate evil, and just this movie Apocalypse War, they both upset me. We'll get to another one that upsets me with Darkseid, Justice League War. I'll go ahead and spoil it, but we'll get to that eventually. They're all lower for me just because I don't think these films have done Darkseid that well. Batman vs. Robin at number 23, that's pretty close to where I have it, but I'm surprised that Bad Blood's above Batman vs. Robin, honestly. I think Batman vs. Robin is the best of the new Batman movies. I mean, Batman Hush is probably close for me, but Batman vs. Robin is probably the best. All-Star Superman at 24. I used to hate this movie, and then, I listened to other people's thoughts on it. People commented on videos, and I read the comments, I think about them, because, I like hearing other people's opinions, and I like to kind of factor that in. But, if I don't agree with that, I just don't agree with it. But, I understand why people like this movie, but it's still not for me. It's a little higher than it was before, so, if you go watch the tier ranking, it's going to be really, really low. It may be a little higher if I were to redo that or rank these again. Public Enemies, yeah, that's about where I'd have it, mid-tier, very mid-tier. It's probably a little lower for me. Superman Doomsday, that is much lower for me. I do not like Superman Doomsday that much. I think the first half is actually pretty decent, but then the second half is just, it gets really weird and strange, and it's just not really done well, in my opinion. Batman vs. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles at 27. Pretty much the same thing I just said about Doomsday, but I prefer this movie overall. I think the first half is great, and then the second half, when all of Batman's villains are mutated, I know that happens in the comics. I know they were just adapting the comic, but it doesn't do it for me. Justice League vs. Fatal 5. I like this movie enough. I wish it were better with it being a DCAU movie, with how much I love Return of the Joker, Mask of Phantasm, even Sub-Zero, but I did enjoy this more than Mystery of the Batwoman, and way more than Batman and Harley Quinn, so... Throne of Atlantis, yeah, I'd probably have it a little lower, but yeah, low to mid-tier for me. War, yeah, I pretty much agree, probably a little lower for me. These next two, I highly disagree with, though. Really, next three, well, not really Justice League vs. Teen Titans, he has that at 33. I probably have it about 10 spots above that, but, I think it's mid-tier. I don't think it's great, but it's really good in my opinion. Now, Teen Titans: The Judas Contract and Constantine: City of Demons, the movie, I disagree with those two placements, 31 and 32. That is very low, and I don't think they're amazing either, but I think they're really solid, pretty good, close to being great. There's just a couple things that happen in the movies that I don't care for, that just kind of drag it down a little. I love Deathstroke and Judas Contract, and Constantine is just amazing in that movie. I love Constantine, though. Wonder Woman Bloodlines at 34, that is shockingly higher than I thought, and there's only 43 movies, so I just don't like Wonder Woman Bloodlines. Batman Hush at 35, that is I understand why people hate Hush, but overall, if you were just watch this as a movie, and you didn't know anything about the source material, or the source material didn't exist, it's not a bad movie. It just doesn't stay true to the comic, and that's why people hate it. People that don't mind that think it's okay, like me. I understand that they didn't want to do a straight adaptation of the comic. I can understand and respect that. In the end, it's all up to who is making the movie, what they want to do. So, Justice League, God and Monsters at 36. That is insane. Connor, if you are watching this, why? What do you have against this movie? It is amazing. I love Justice League, Gods and Monsters. I absolutely love it. It is probably my favorite Elseworlds movie. I like it more than Gotham by Gaslight. I like it more than Red Sun. It's one of my favorite Justice League movies. Superman Unbound at 37. Yeah, I understand that. I didn't care for Superman Unbound. Son of Batman at 38. I probably have that a little higher. I like it more than Unbound and Bloodlines, but really everything else he has above it. Well, War and Throne of War. I don't even remember if I like Throne of Atlantis more or not. I'd have to watch those two back to back. But I probably prefer Son of Batman to those. Green Lantern First Flight at 39. That's really low, and I can understand it though, because I think this movie it's okay in the beginning. It's not great. I don't really think there's too many parts of the movie that are great. But the second half, when Green Lantern like becomes a giant lantern, like he absorbs the entire lantern or whatever to beat Sinestro, that's pretty ridiculous. And I'm like, what just happened? I don't know. Green Lantern Emerald Knight. Yeah, I can't really speak on that because I haven't seen it. Gotham Knight. Yeah, I don't like Gotham Knight whatsoever. Like, none of the stories interest me. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I don't plan on rewatching it. Killing Joke at 42. I think I put Killing Joke a little higher than most people, but I still don't like the movie. I still think it's a bad movie, but I think the actual Killing Joke part of it is pretty decent. And Batman and Harley Quinn in last place at 43. Thank you, Connor. Thank you. I hate Batman and Harley Quinn so much. The humor in that movie never hits. The characters in that movie do not feel like they do in the animated series whatsoever. I absolutely hate that movie, and I wanted to love it. That's the thing. So, yes, let's go on to the next list. So this list is by Gowan Nelson, and he only ranked his top 20. And I should mention, Connor had it because he updates his stuff. But I put this out before Apocalypse War came out. That tells you how long ago this was. But yeah, so in some of these lists, you may not see Apocalypse War, and it may actually be in their top 20 or 10 or whatever it may be. But it was in Connor's. I don't think it'll be in the rest because I don't think people bothered to update this. So, number 1, Batman Under the Red Hood, yes. Number 2, Flashpoint Paradox, yes. Death of Superman at number 3, Dark Knight Returns at number 4 and 5, yes. I agree with that top 5. I can respect that top 5. I would have Return of the Joker and Mask of the Phantasm replacing Death of Superman. And, well, Justice League War, if you count the Dark Knight Returns as one film. Like I said, I don't like Justice League War. I think the first half is good. I think the characters are written pretty well. And then the second half, I think the movie just falls apart. I hate Darkseid in the movie. And I love Darkseid as a character, so it was really disappointing for me. Mask of the Phantasm at 7. Return of the Joker at 8. That kind of hurts, I'm not going to lie, but at least it's in the top 10. I love Batman Return of the Joker so much. Judas Contract at 9. Okay, I can respect that. It'd be a little lower for me, but respect. Justice League Crisis on Two Earths. It's in the top 10. Awesome. Assault on Arkham at 11. Be a little lower for me, but I can respect it. Red Sun at number 12. That's really close to where I have it, I believe. I think it's just in my top 15. Wonder Woman at 13. Pretty close to where I have it. I think it's number 10-ish for me. And just outside the top 10, one or the other, like I mentioned earlier. Superman vs. Lee at top 14. And The New Frontier at 15. So far, aside from Justice League War, his top 15, or what's shaping into his top 20, is pretty close. I agree, just some ordering I would have differently. So Teen Titans, or Justice League vs. Teen Titans at 16, okay, I can respect that. All-Star Superman at 17, definitely not in my top 20, but I understand why people enjoy the movie. Justice League Gods and Monsters at 18, I'd have this much higher. It's in my top 10 without a doubt. But I can understand why parts of this movie could turn some people off, and even he may love this movie because, everyone enjoys movies differently. So and there's a lot of DC anime movies, a lot of them are great, so anything in your top 20 is probably a great movie to you if you love DC. Justice League Dark at 19, very close to where I have it. Batman vs. Robin at 20, I have it slightly lower, but I can respect it. Overall, the only ones I really disagree with on this are All-Star Superman and Justice League War. And just from reactions I've seen of the movies, just on the internet and people commenting and things, I kind of seem in the minority of disliking those as much as I do. So overall, I think this is a solid top 20. So the next list is Arcanized, and he has a video that I'm just going to skip through because I do not want to risk getting copyrighted. So at 10, Justice League Gods and Monsters, yes. Number 10, it's in the top 10, that's good. Number 9, Justice League Crisis on Two Earths, okay. I wonder if his top 10 is going to be the same as mine, but a different order. So far, we're on the right track. Justice League Doom at number 8. Okay, still on the right track. I don't think Gowan Nelson had Justice League Doom, did he? Bro, what do you got against Justice League Doom? Let me know. I love Justice League Doom. Wonder Woman at number 7. So far, he has Death of Superman at number 6. So overall, right now, I think Death of Superman is combined for the highest ranking right now. Connor had it at number 1. Gowan Nelson had it at number 3, I believe, and he has it at number 6. Mask of the Phantasm at 5. And I think the only one that's not in my top 10 that's been on his so far is The Death of Superman. And I'm sorry for saying that because everyone else loves it. And I love it too, but there's just movies I prefer. The Dark Knight Returns at number 4. Okay, I think Mask of the Phantasm is... I prefer Mask of the Phantasm to The Dark Knight Returns just slightly. And yeah, our top 3 are going to be the same. I talk to this guy like every day, so I know what's coming. 3, Flashpoint Paradox. 2 is Under the Red Hood. And number 1, my boy has me backed up. Everest, thank you. Batman Beyond, Return of the Joker. Go subscribe to him. Show him that Batman Beyond, Return of the Joker love. Guys, seriously, if you love this movie even nearly as much as I do, I adore this movie. Let me know in the comments below because I love talking about this movie. And why haven't I done a review yet? I have no idea. Because I don't think I can do this movie justice, that's why. So we have one more list, and it's on my Twitter. So let's go ahead and get into that. You only got 4 lists, but you know, it's cool. Thank you guys for contributing in any way. And if you didn't leave a list, if you watched the video, you're still cool. Thank you. So this list is from Muhammad Ali on Twitter. Oh, Muhammad Ali messaged me. Sweet. And I actually sent this dude some text back and stuff. So I say that like, oh my god, I'm just now seeing that he texted me. But anyway, number 10, Batman vs. Robin. Interesting that that's top 10. But, you know, some people really do love that movie. And I can understand it. If you're a big Court of Owls fan, yeah. I'm just not big on the Court of Owls, which is my main turnoff with that movie. But number 9 is Wonder Woman. So Wonder Woman, everyone but Gowan's top 10. 8, Justice League vs. Teen Titans. I'm loving this Justice League vs. Teen Titans love, guys. I like that movie a lot. 7, Justice League War. So interesting. Him and Gowan Nelson both had this really high. I know a lot of people love Justice League War, and I wish I loved it like so many people did, but I just can't. Superman vs. the Elite at number 6. Thank you. So, okay, I'm going to spoil this for you. Death of Superman is not in his top 5. It's not in his top 10. So he agrees with me. Superman vs. the Elite is the best Superman movie. Animated, at least. Teen Titans The Judas Contract at number 5. Okay, very high praise right there. Which I understand. I love Deathstroke in that movie. 4, Justice League The Flashpoint Paradox. 3, Batman Under the Red Hood. 2, Batman Mask of the Phantasm. And number 1, Batman The Dark Knight Returns Part 2. So, solid top 4, obviously. Where's Return of the Joker, though? Muhammad Ali. No, I'm just kidding. You know, everyone has their own opinions. I respect that. And if you haven't seen Return of the Joker, though, and that's why it's not anywhere in your top 10, check it out. Definitely check it out. I am telling you, you will not regret it. It is a great movie. So yeah, this turned into a reacting to your DC animated movie rankings. It turned into just a Batman Beyond Return of the Joker love fest, right? But seriously, guys, thank you for leaving lists for me to react to. It's just fun to get other opinions at times, and, you know, my opinions get boring. So, yeah, thank you for that, and thank you for watching. I will see you guys next time. Goodbye. I've been flying from town to town.